You won't believe what happened that Sunday afternoon in our seminary. Even now, when I remember it, I still get chills down my spine. Because that was the day a seminarian slapped a bishop right inside the chapel. And I was there. I saw everything with my 2 eyes. It was in St. Michael's Major Seminary, somewhere in the east, a peaceful, holy place where discipline is like the air we breathe. We used to joke that even the birds there sang, Kyrie eleison. We all wore our white cassocks, neat and pressed. The rector walked like a saint, and the prefect spoke as if angels trained them. But among us, there was one person who stood out, not because of holiness, but because of pride. His name was Chike. Tall, fine, intelligent, too intelligent for his own good. Chike always walked as if the ground wasn't worthy to carry him. He quoted Latin like water, corrected lecturers in class, and even mocked those who couldn't pronounce Agnus Dei properly. Some people admired him, others avoided him. But me, I stayed far. Because Chike was the kind of person that could argue with a wall and still think he won. That semester, something strange began to happen. The bishop, His Lordship Bishop Okafor, started visiting more often. He said he wanted to observe the formation process closely. Now, Bishop Okafor was a good man, gentle and calm, but he didn't take nonsense. He believed humility was the foundation of priesthood. From the first day he met Chike, it was as if oil and water touched. The bishop asked a simple question during a homily. My sons, what is true obedience in priesthood? Chike raised his hand and answered confidently. Obedience is for those who lack understanding. Once you have divine knowledge, you obey God directly. The whole chapel went silent. The bishop looked at him, smiled faintly, and said, My son, knowledge without humility leads to ruin. But Chike didn't bow. He just said, with due respect, my lord, the apostles argued too. That day, even the air was tense. Weeks passed. The tension grew like a wound nobody treated. Chike began preaching strange things, about how priests are just men like us, and how the hierarchy of the church limits divine power. Some seminarians began to follow him secretly. Then came the ordination week, the most sacred time of the year. The bishop was to preside over the ordination of 5 deacons. Everyone was excited. The chapel was decorated, candles polished, choir rehearsing endlessly. But one evening, during choir practice, I heard loud voices near the corridor. I turned and saw Chike arguing with the vice-rector. You can't remove me from the liturgy schedule. Chike shouted. The vice-rector said, You are on disciplinary watch, Mr. Is. It's an order from the bishop himself. Chike's eyes darkened. He just hissed and stormed out. That night, he didn't join evening prayer. He stayed in his room, door locked, light until morning. Sunday arrived. The sun rose bright and merciless. The ordination mass was packed, priests, sisters, parents, villagers. Even the governor sent his representative. The bishop came in with incense swirling, vestments shining like heaven's light. Everything was perfect. Until the end of Mass. After communion, the bishop called out names of the deacons and blessed them. Then, unexpectedly, he turned toward the seminarians and said, My sons, formation is not pride. If any of you thinks you are greater than obedience, you are not ready for the altar. He paused. His eyes scanned the crowd. Then he looked straight at Chike. I swear, I could feel the electricity in the air. Chike stood up, slowly, deliberately, his cassock flowing like a movie scene. Everyone's eyes followed him. He walked straight toward the altar. The bishop looked surprised but calm. My lord, Chike said, his voice shaking, you've humiliated me enough. You think because you wear that mitre, you own the Spirit of God. Gasps filled the chapel. Some people whispered, Yesu. What is happening? The bishop raised his hand gently. My son, calm down. But Chike's pride had already taken over. He stepped closer, too close, and pointed his finger. You fear men more than truth. And then, before anyone could blink, PAA. He slapped the bishop. Right there at the altar. In front of everyone. The sound echoed like thunder. The incense burner dropped. The choir froze mid-song. I remember feeling my knees go weak. The words stopped moving for 5 full seconds. The bishop didn't say a word. He just touched his cheek, looked at Chike with tears in his eyes, and whispered, God forgive you. Then he walked away slowly, assisted by the rector. Chaos broke loose. Some seminarians grabbed Chike, others shouted. One brother even fainted. It was like the devil entered the chapel that day. Later that evening, they took Chike away quietly. The story spread like wildfire across diocese. Seminarian slaps bishop. We never saw him again. Some said he was expelled immediately. Others said he was taken for psychiatric evaluation. Nobody really knew. But the following week, the bishop came back. He climbed the same pulpit and said only one thing. My sons, God can use even shame to teach humility. He never mentioned Chike's name. But from that day, something changed in the seminary. We all became gentler, quieter. Nobody complained about discipline anymore. We prayed more, smiled more. And me, every time I see a new seminarian with pride in his voice, I remember that slap. Because it wasn't just a slap to the bishop, it was a slap to everything holy in us. Years later, when I was ordained, I visited that same chapel. I stood where Chike stood. I imagined that moment again, the anger, the pride, the silence that followed. And I whispered a prayer for him. Lord, wherever Chike is, let mercy find him. Then I realized something deep. Sometimes the biggest fall doesn't happen in public, it starts quietly, in the heart, the moment pride whispers, you're greater than obedience.